Hello there. Welcome back to grade 11 economics. This video, I want to look at a past exam paper, and we are going to look at a common test of March 2023. This is the question paper that we have. We are going to look at a question paper from the province of KwaZulu-Natal. This is what we have. So we are going to look at section B of that question paper. That is our question 2. Our question 2 is on macroeconomics, and it has 40 marks, and it requires you to spend on average 30 minutes on that question. Our question reads: answer the following questions. On the first part, 2.1.1 reads: name two examples of leakages. So our question has got 2 marks, which means every point or every example with 1 mark. Remember, our leakages are the withdrawals that we have in the economy that cause the examples that we are going to just mention are examples of items that reduce the income that is flowing in the economy. It is a withdrawal from another point of view. So what are the examples that we may have? Taxes becomes one of the examples of leakages, and then also we can have savings. We can talk about also imports because when you are having, for example, taxes, the government is collecting revenue from households and businesses. So when the revenue is being collected, it's being taken away from the circular flow. Basically, that's what we have. And also in terms of savings, when you are saving, you are removing it. You are removing income in the circular flow and maybe save it somewhere. Basically, it becomes also a leakage. These are the examples that we have, and we are talking about taxes. And also, you can include savings. You can also include imports as an example. There are many others that we can also include, but our question only requires 2, so we can just pick 2 from this one that we have. There are 2.1.2. Explain the importance of an open economy. The question has got 2 marks. An open economy, remember, is an economy that engages in international trade, or it engages in trade with other countries, and that is an economy that is open. So remember, the opposite is a closed economy, where we are saying when it's a closed economy, it's not engaging in international trade, or it's not interacting with other countries, then you say it's a closed economy. The importance now of an open economy is that the residents of the country or the business of the country will have an opportunity to access other goods or services from outside. Basically, that's the importance of an open economy, and also it's an advantage from the point of view of the government because the government is going to collect revenue through the borders when there are imports that are taking place. Basically, that's what we have. We go to other section and try to see in terms of explanation on the importance of an open economy, which is our 2.1.2. And try to see the explanation that we have is here. We say an open economy allows the country to import natural resources and final products that it does not have, and export its own for foreign to foreign countries. The acquisition of natural resources that are not available in the local economy can also be the importance of an open economy. These natural resources are being acquired through imports. Basically, that's what the explanation that we have, and we are saying that the question has got our 2 marks. So we go back to the question and try to see the next question that we have. I start the diagram below and other the questions that follow. You are given a diagram there, although it's not very, very visible, but we have a diagram there. Then beneath that, we are given 2.2.1, which reads: identify one example of fixed capital from the above diagram. The question has got 1 mark, which means you have to identify one example. When there, we want to identify a fixed capital, but we know that a fixed capital is described by fixed assets or non-current assets. And examples of fixed capital, we've got vehicles, we've got machinery, a big part of our fixed asset. According to the information given on the diagram, you'd see that it's not visible, but we have examples that we have there of machinery that is being shown there. If you come here, If you come you would see that we have a machinery that we have here. That is an example. We've got also vehicles that are being indicated here that are showing examples of fixed capital. So we are saying machinery. And also you can also include vehicles or vehicles. So this is what we have on this part. And then you go to the next part of the question. Briefly describe the term intermediate goods. So basically, intermediate goods, they are goods um, that are used as inputs for the production of other goods. So basically, that's intermediate goods. So remember, we are saying after producing a certain good, it's again used as an input in the production of another good. Then it becomes an intermediate good. So we have an explanation that we have got in this video that we also want to try to see what we have. So intermediates are goods. We have the explanation here. It says intermediate goods refers to goods that are used in the production of other goods. So basically, that's the description that we have. Then you go to the next part of the question, which says, what is the effect of low interest rates in the investment? So on investment, we have interest rates. So interest rates, we know that basically is the cost of borrowing money. So if we have low interest rates, it means the cost is now low. So obviously, we are going to see uh, businesses are easily accessing those funds because it's now cheap. And obviously, in that sense, we are going to see an increase in investment. So basically, there are two variables that we are comparing there. We are comparing interest rates and investment. So we are seeing that there is a negative relationship that is existing between interest rates and investment, whereby we are seeing if interest rates decrease, in this case, and then investments will increase. So basically, yeah, it indicates a negative relationship. So this is exactly what we are going to point out on our other section. So we go to other section to see the description that we have. It reads the low interest rates make the cost of borrowing cheap for investors, and that then they may lead to an increase in the levels of investment. So this is basically the explanation that we have. Then we go to the next part of the question, which says, how can banks assist in making funding more accessible to small businesses? So now, question has got four marks, and obviously it requires you to raise two points. So basically, this is what we have according to that on 2.2.5. Banks can set fair and reasonable terms and conditions regarding repayment periods and interest rates. So this makes it easier for small business to access those funds because the repayment periods are flexible and the interest rates are not very high. Obviously, that will attract uh, accessibility of those funds. So basically, that's what we have on the first point. Then the second point says more consideration should be placed on business proposal and entrepreneurial skills than on collateral. So when assessing the business proposals, the banks can not much consider in terms of collateral because remember, small businesses do not have much assets that they can use as collateral because they are small. The funding is still too low. So obviously, the banks can use the uh, skills analysis whereby they analyze the skills or assess the skills of the businesses that is applying for funding and use that as the basis for issuing the loans rather than using collateral. So basically, that's what we have on the second point. And then you go to the last point. The banks should give preference to small business owners who already happen to be their loyal customers. So basically, banks can also take into consideration that if there are small businesses that are applying for funding, and they are also customers of those banks. So that is the scenario that we have there. So our next question is 2.3, which reads, start the table below and answer the questions that follow. You're given the national income accounts as it quarter two, which is 2022, and then you're given the column for items and then the value on the other column. Then believe that the first question that we have reads, identify the concept that refers to wages and salaries from the table above. So, but we see that the concept that refers to wages and salaries from table above, we've got compensation of employees. Compensation of employees have become the concept that refers to wages and salaries. So, wages and salaries is, you can explain it from another point of view as compensation. So, this is what we have. The 2.2 provide the missing term labeled A in the above table. So A is year, and it's a gross value added at this, and then we have a figure there. But if you look at it, to arrive at this figure, we have a compensation of employees, net operating surplus, consumption of fixed capital, and then we get our gross value added at, obviously it's at basic price. So we are saying the response that we have for A there is basic price. So I'll move on to the next question. It is briefly describe the term gross national income. So obviously, the issue of the term gross national income uh, is quite different from a gross domestic income, which is gross domestic product. So basically, on gross national income, we are saying we are calculating the total income um, that has been earned by residents of the country, no matter their location. So we are saying residents of South Africa, whether they are producing in South Africa or they are producing outside South Africa, we combine their income and we get gross national income. So we see that this is quite different from gross domestic income, whereby we are saying gross domestic income, we are just um, aggregating the total income that is being earned inside South Africa, no matter the nationality of the person or the business. So basically, that's now gross domestic income or gross domestic product. So basically, that's what we have on gross national income, whereby we are talking about what is being earned by residents of the country, no matter their location. So we go to 2.3 to see the explanation that we have there, which reads 2.3.3, it's try to see, which reads gross national income is the total amount of money earned by residents and business of a country, both inside and outside the borders of a country. So basically, that's the description that we have. Then we go to the next part of the question saying, why are other subsidies on production subtracted when calculating national income? So remember, the essence behind subsidies. Subsidies, we know that these are payments made to firms. They are made by the government to firms facing high cost of production so that they face low cost of production. So the main objectives of subsidies is the reduction of the price or to protect the consumer so that the consumer is not charged the higher price. So basically now, here the question is, why are other subsidies on production subtracted when calculating national income? So it's subtracted because when the subsidies are issued, they are issued with the main aim of reducing the price. So basically that's why we have them being subtracted there. So we have the explanation briefly described on our other section, so we can try to see what do we have. So if you come here, you see that this is the reason that we have, which means other subsidies of production are subtracted because they lower the market price and the factor cost. So basically that's what we have. Then we go to the next part of the question, 2.3.5. You says use the information in the table above to calculate gross value added at basic price. Show all calculations. So gross value added at basic price, we have it here, is represented by our P. So obviously to arrive there, you are going to say gross value added at basic price. We add other taxes on production, and then you subtract other subsidies of production. So basically, you're saying 5,453,539 plus 131,463, and then you subtract 12,494. Then you get your answer here. And if you calculate it correctly, you are going to get your answer here is. So this amount of the calculation, if you're going to get the answer, is 5,572,608. So this becomes your final answer. So we go to the next question, which is 2.4, discuss the goods market is found in the circular flow. So obviously, the goods market as part of the circular flow represents the real flow. They represent the real flow, and the goods market also here's the services are also under the goods market. So basically, that's what we have in terms of the goods market in the circular flow. But our question has got 8 marks, so we are supposed to raise at least 4 points, obviously, at least 4 points to discuss the goods market. So we go to another section again and try to see what descriptions do we have or a discussion that we have in terms of that. So if you come here, you'd see that we have them are described here. We try to see where we do have that discussion. So these are the points that we have on 2.4. We say discuss the goods market as found in circular flow. And we're saying first point, a market where consumer goods and services are traded. This is exactly as we have tried to explain. Goods are defined as tangible items like food, clothes, cars, etc. That satisfy human needs and wants. And the next point, buying and selling takes place under the following types of goods market. Um, we have got capital goods market for trading of buildings and machinery. And then we also have consumer goods market for trading of durable goods or semi-durable goods and non-durable goods. Then our last point, services are defined as non-tangible actions and include wholesale and retail and transport and also financial markets. So basically, this is what we in discussion of the goods market. So as we go to the last part of our question, it says, how do savings positively influence the economy? Uh, we know that savings we described it earlier in this video that savings uh, is described as a reduction of income that is flowing in the circular flow. So it's a leakage. So how does it now positively influence the economy? So obviously we see that when there are savings, whenever participants in the economy are engaging in savings, they are trying to cushion themselves in times of economic decline. So, for example, when you're having a recession, uh, those participants can utilize those savings during a recession. So, in other words, we are saying it assists or it activates a demand in terms of a recession, because the recession obviously is associated with a decline in economic activity. So obviously the value of money will be eroded in such a way. So basically we are saying now in terms of those phases when the economy is declining, the participants in the economy can also become active during those times because they have savings. So basically this is what we have, but we have a short description that we have in terms of how savings are positively influence the economy. So we go to our answer section and try to see that description on how savings can positively influence the economy. So basically, we have it here, and we are seeing that the first point that we have there is the availability of savings in the country makes it possible for investors to borrow money from banks to start or expand their businesses. So obviously, the issue of savings is not only from the point of view of the households and businesses that are operating in the economy. It can also be explained from the point of view of financial institutions like banks. So when they do those savings, they can be able to issue them later on is loans to participants in the economy. So basically, that's what we have on the first point. The next point saying savings help consumers to be able to deal with financial difficulties during recession when inflation tends to be high. So this is the point that we are trying to illustrate that in terms of in terms of recessions, the savings can be utilized, and maybe the decline can be in a way resuscitated during the time. So this is what we have. Then we go to the next one. When people save, the country can be able to maintain a stable exchange rate by avoiding a demand pull inflation. So we are saying through savings. The increase in demand can be smoothened out since the participants in the economy are not spending all the income that they have higher incomes, but they're not spending all of them. They are spending some of them. So it will reduce demand. And at the end of the day, it's also reducing demand pull inflation. So remember, the increase in demand also leads to increase in prices. So that's what we have. So it can be avoided if there are savings that are taking place. So that becomes a positive influence onto the economy by reducing a demand for inflation. So that's when savings enable people to create wealth for themselves and their families, which end up spilling over to the economy. So a creation of wealth also. And then lastly, savings contribute to the general macroeconomic stability through various indirect positive effects on employment and other variables. So this becomes again the last point that we have there. We are saying our question is 8 marks and the total that we have in terms of this question, obviously, we are seeing 40 marks here. So this is what you guys are putting to this video. Thank you for listening. Let's not forget to subscribe and share to our channel. And let's not forget to share the link to our colleagues who are doing grade 11 economics. More typical and submitted questions will be uploaded on this channel. So let's stay tuned. Let's turn on the notification button so that when we have new uploads, you are notified. Let's meet again in the next video. As for this video, I'm signing out.